"You smell like failure," Bridget said, yanking our twin daughters' hands as they reached for me. The words cut through the McDonald's parking lot like a blade. 7-year-old Mila started crying, while her sister Ruby whispered, "We still love you, Daddy." That was 3 months ago, but those words still echo in my head every single night when I'm stocking shelves at 4 in the morning, wondering how I became this ghost of a man. My name is Nathan Cross, and I'm about to tell you how a stranger in a Mercedes changed everything in a single night of rain. But first, you need to understand how far I'd fallen. A 38-year-old man working 3 jobs, sleeping 4 hours a night if he's lucky, living in a studio apartment where the ceiling leaks brown water and only one burner on the stove works. That's me, the same guy who once owned a successful restaurant, had a beautiful house in the suburbs, and thought he had life figured out. Now I stock shelves at Hanson's Grocery, clean office buildings downtown, and deliver packages until my feet bleed through my socks. My ex-wife Bridget treats me like I'm contagious. She's 36, works as a dental hygienist, and has perfected the art of making me feel worthless in front of our daughters. 2 weeks after our divorce papers were signed, she moved in with Dominic Reeves. You might know the name if you live in Illinois because his face is plastered on 17 car dealership billboards across the state. The man who replaced me drives a different luxury car for each day of the week, while I pray my 2004 Honda Civic makes it through another Chicago winter. Mila and Ruby, my twin daughters, are 7 years old and the only reason I keep going. Mila has my stubborn streak and questions everything. Ruby inherited her mother's beauty, but thankfully not her cruelty. She still draws pictures of our old family, all 4 of us together, and slips them into my pocket during our supervised visits. Yes, supervised visits, because Bridget convinced a judge that my apartment isn't suitable for overnight stays. The death of my restaurant wasn't dramatic. No fire, no scandal, just the slow suffocation of the economy squeezing out small businesses. One day, I was serving the best Italian food on the north side. The next, I was padlocking the doors and filing for bankruptcy. The house went next, then the car, then my dignity, and finally my family. 3 months ago was when Bridget delivered her final blow. I'd driven to that McDonald's parking lot for my scheduled visitation. I'd saved for 2 weeks to buy the girls Happy Meals and small toys from the dollar store. When I handed them their presents, Bridget looked at the cheap plastic toys and laughed. "Girls, look what Daddy brought you, dollar store specials. Dominic bought you iPads yesterday, didn't he? And what did Daddy bring? Garbage." She turned to me with that smile that used to make my heart race, but now made it sink. "You smell like failure, Nathan, like grease and sweat and minimum wage." I wanted to tell her that the smell was honest work, that I'd been up since 3 a.m. unloading trucks in the grocery store freezer, that my hands were raw from industrial cleaning chemicals, that every muscle in my body screamed from carrying packages up 4-story walk-ups. But what was the point? She'd already won. Ruby tried to hug me goodbye that day, but Bridget pulled her back. "We don't want to smell like Daddy's work, do we?" Mila's face crumpled as they were led to Dominic's Tesla. I sat in that parking lot for an hour afterward, too tired to cry, too broken to move. But last night changed everything. Last night, in the pouring rain, a woman I'd never seen before followed me home in a black Mercedes. She knew my name, she knew my story, and she said 10 words that shattered everything I thought I knew about my life. "Your mother sent me to save you, Nathan Cross." What happened next is why I'm telling you this story, because sometimes when you think you're worthless, the universe reminds you that every good deed, every moment of kindness, every sacrifice you made when you were stronger becomes a seed that grows in secret, waiting for the exact moment when you need it most. This is the story of how I learned that failure isn't the end of your story. It's just the chapter before everything changes. And it all started with a woman in a Mercedes, standing in the rain, holding an envelope that would reveal just how many lives I'd touched without ever knowing it. My alarm goes off at 3:30 a.m. every morning, but I'm usually already awake, staring at the water stain on my ceiling that looks like a map of nowhere. The studio apartment cost me $800 a month, which in Chicago means you get 300 square feet, a bathroom where you have to choose between closing the door or having room to sit, and neighbors who argue through paper-thin walls until dawn. I roll out of bed, careful not to step on the bucket that catches the leak when it rains. My breakfast is always the same: black coffee and whatever day-old bread I can snag from the grocery store. I eat standing up because my only chair broke 2 months ago and furniture isn't in the budget. Every dollar goes to child support or survival, nothing in between. By 4 a.m., I'm at Hanson's Grocery, pulling on the green vest that marks me as invisible to customers. Jerome, my coworker, always greets me the same way. "Another day in paradise, Nathan?" He's 63, been stocking shelves for 20 years, and somehow still smiles. He doesn't know I had a different life before this. Nobody does. It's easier to be nobody than to be somebody who lost everything. The morning shift is actually the best one. The store is quiet, just us and the merchandise. I unload trucks, stock shelves, break down cardboard until my hands are raw. 8 hours of physical labor that pays $11 an hour. Mr. Peterson, the night manager, sometimes leaves me sandwiches in the break room with notes that say, "Forgot my lunch, don't let it go to waste." We both know he didn't forget anything. At noon, I rush to my second job downtown. I clean offices for a company called Spotless Solutions, which is ironic since there's nothing spotless about my life. I push a cart through gleaming hallways, emptying trash cans of people who make more in a day than I make in a month. Sometimes I see my reflection in the windows of corner offices and don't recognize the hollow-eyed man staring back. The worst part is finding family photos on executive desks, smiling fathers with their arms around children at Disney World, beach vacations, graduation ceremonies. I dust these carefully, wondering if those kids know how lucky they are to have fathers who can afford to be present. My brother Felix calls me during my 10-minute lunch break. He's younger by 2 years, but decades ahead in success. "Nathan, I can lend you money. You don't have to live like this." But I do have to live like this. Pride is the only thing Bridget didn't take from me. Felix has his own family, his own mortgage. He shouldn't have to pay for my failures. "I'm managing," I tell him every time. "Things will turn around." "When?" he asks. "When you work yourself to death? Mom's worried sick about you." My mother, Dorothy Cross, is 71 and lives on Social Security in a modest apartment in Cicero. She raised Felix and me alone after Dad died when I was 12. She texts me Bible verses every morning and recipes I'll never have time or money to cook. Last week she wrote, "Remember, Nathan, Joseph was in prison before he became second to Pharaoh." I wanted to text back that at least Joseph got regular meals in prison. By 7 p.m., I'm delivering packages for Quick Ship. This is the killer shift, racing against delivery deadlines, lugging boxes upstairs in buildings with broken elevators, getting yelled at by customers who think I'm personally responsible for their delayed orders. My feet bleed through my socks by the 10th hour. I've superglued the soles of my work boots 3 times because new ones cost a week's worth of groceries. The other drivers think I'm antisocial because I eat alone in my car. Truth is, I can't afford to grab food with them, and I'm too exhausted for conversation. I survive on gas station coffee and packages of crackers I pocket from the grocery store. Not stealing, exactly. Mr. Peterson pretends not to notice, and I pretend I'm not that desperate. Midnight comes like a mercy. I drive home past houses lit with warm yellow windows, families inside living lives I used to have. My apartment building stands like a tombstone against the night sky. 17 floors of people who've given up on something. My phone has 3 missed calls from Bridget. Not because she cares, but because she loves to remind me that tomorrow the girls have soccer practice I can't attend, or school plays I'll miss, or birthday parties, where Dominic will play the hero dad while their real father stocks toilet paper for minimum wage. This is my life now. This was my life because everything I'm about to tell you started changing the night I noticed that black Mercedes following me home. 3 days ago, everything started feeling wrong. It began with that black Mercedes parked outside Hanson's Grocery when I arrived for my 4 a.m. shift. Illinois plates, tinted windows so dark you couldn't see inside, engine running but never moving. I noticed it because nobody drives a car like that in my neighborhood unless they're lost or looking for trouble. Jerome spotted it too. "That car's been there since I got here at 3, he said, peering through the loading dock doors. "Same one was here yesterday. You owe somebody money, Nathan?" He meant it as a joke, but my stomach twisted into knots. When you're barely surviving, paranoia comes easy. Every unexpected knock, every unknown number, every strange car could be the thing that pushes you over the edge. I tried to shake it off, but when I left for my second job, the Mercedes was there again, parked across from the office building. Not following exactly, just present, like a shadow that appears wherever you look. The security guard at Spotless Solutions mentioned it too. That Mercedes has been circling the block all afternoon. Somebody's got money to burn on gas. My mind raced through possibilities, each worse than the last. Maybe Bridget hired a private investigator to prove I was an unfit father. Maybe she wanted to document something, anything, that would strip away my visitation rights. Or maybe Dominic wanted to ensure I stayed in my place, knew my role as the failed father who couldn't provide. That night, exhaustion hit me like a sledgehammer. My hands shook as I loaded packages into the delivery van. I'd eaten nothing but crackers and black coffee for 2 days, saving every penny for gas and the child support payment due Friday. Mr. Chen, the quick ship dispatcher, pulled me aside. "Nathan, you okay? You look like death." "Just tired," I managed, but we both knew it was more than that. I was disappearing, becoming less solid every day like a photograph left in the sun. The Mercedes appeared again during my delivery route. Always 2 cars behind, always maintaining distance. Professional. By the time I finished my shift, rain had started falling, turning Chicago's streets into rivers of reflected light. I was too tired to be scared anymore, too beaten down to care if someone was watching me fail in real time. I called Bridget from my car, my hands gripping the phone so tight my knuckles went white. "Are you having me followed?" She laughed, that cruel sound that used to be music. "Nathan, why would I waste money on you? You're already exactly where you belong, in the gutter. There's been a car following me for 3 days. Probably debt collectors. Did you miss a payment on that piece of junk you drive?" Her voice dripped satisfaction. "Oh, by the way, Dominic's taking us to Aspen this weekend. The girls are getting private ski lessons. They're so excited." My chest tightened. This is my weekend with them. Was your weekend. Plans change when opportunities arise. The girls need to experience success, Nathan, not watch you count pennies for happy meals. They're my daughters too, Bridget. Biologically, yes, but father is a verb, not just a noun. Dominic's showing them what a real man provides, you're showing them what failure looks like. Which lesson do you think matters more? Can I at least call them tonight? Say goodnight? They wanted to call you yesterday, actually. Ruby had something she made for you at school. But we were at Dominic's country club for dinner, and you know how it is. We got busy, maybe next time. The line went dead. I sat in that rain-soaked parking lot, my whole body shaking with rage and exhaustion and something deeper than both. Despair, maybe, or just the final acceptance that I'd lost everything that mattered. That's when I noticed the Mercedes had pulled into the parking lot behind me. The engine shut off. The driver's door opened. Through my rain-blurred windshield, I saw a woman step out. She wore expensive clothes that were immediately soaked by the downpour. No umbrella, no hesitation, just walking straight toward my car like she'd been waiting for this moment for years. I could have driven away, should have, probably, but when you've lost everything, what's left to protect? When you smell like failure and feel like nothing, and your own daughters are being taught to forget you exist. What's the worst that could happen?" She stopped beside my window, rain streaming down her face, mixing with what looked like tears. Her mouth moved, forming words I couldn't hear through the glass and storm. But her eyes held something I hadn't seen directed at me in so long I'd forgotten it existed. Hope. She was looking at me like I mattered, like I was somebody worth finding. I rolled down my window, and the rain immediately soaked my shoulder. The woman standing there looked like she'd stepped out of a different world, one where people drove Mercedes and wore designer clothes that probably cost more than my monthly rent. She was maybe 45, with sharp cheekbones and eyes that held a strange mix of determination and vulnerability. "Nathan Cross?" Her voice trembled despite her composed appearance. "Please, don't run. I need to talk to you. Lady, if you're serving papers or collecting debts, just hand them over. I'm too tired for games. I'm not here for any of that." She wiped rain from her face, mascara running in dark streams. "You don't remember me. My name is Vivian Montgomery now, but 18 years ago everyone called me Sparrow. The name hit me like a physical blow. Sparrow. Suddenly, I was 20 years old again, working the night shift at Second Chance's youth shelter in Chicago. I could see her, clearly, 17, pregnant, standing on the shelter's roof at 2 in the morning, her toes hanging over the edge. "You were going to jump," I said, the memory crystallizing. It was January, -10 degrees. You were wearing just a t-shirt and torn jeans. She nodded, rain mixing with tears now. "You found me, spent 6 hours talking me down. You told me about your father dying when you were 12, how your mother worked 3 jobs to keep you and your brother fed. You said pain was temporary, but death was permanent. That was a lifetime ago. I was young, thought I could save everyone. You saved me." She stepped closer to my window. "When morning came, you gave me $300. Every penny you'd saved for college textbooks. You put me on a bus to Denver where my aunt lived. Do you remember what you said when I tried to refuse the money?" I remembered. "Your baby deserves a mother who fought to live, not one who gave up." That baby is at Harvard Medical School now. Her name is Grace. Vivian pulled out her phone, showing me a photo of a young woman in a white coat. "She wants to be a pediatric surgeon. She exists because you existed at exactly the right moment." "That's beautiful, Vivian, but why are you here? Why follow me for 3 days?" "Because I've been looking for you for 2 years. You disappeared after the shelter closed. No social media, no professional networking sites, it was like you vanished." She shifted her weight, rain pooling around her expensive heels. "I built a logistics company from nothing, Nathan. Started with 1 truck, now I have a fleet of 800. The company is worth $890 million. My throat went dry. "Good for you. I'm happy you made it. I made it because of you, and I'm here to repay a debt." She pulled an envelope from her jacket, thick with documents. "But first, you need to know who told me where to find you, who's been orchestrating all of this." "What are you talking about?" "Your mother, Nathan. Dorothy Cross has been writing to me for 2 years. The world tilted. "That's impossible. My mother doesn't know about you. I never told anyone about that night." Vivian turned her phone toward me again, showing email after email. My mother's name, her photos, timestamps going back years. "She hired a private investigator when your restaurant failed, not to spy, but to understand. She found the shelter records, tracked down people you'd helped. And Nathan, there are so many of us. This is insane." I gripped the steering wheel to steady myself. 43 people, Nathan. She found 43 people whose lives you changed. The family whose roof you repaired after the tornado in Joliet. The elderly veteran whose groceries you paid for every week in college. The teenager you taught to read when you volunteered at the library. The woman whose abusive husband you stood up to outside that convenience store. We all exist in better lives because you acted when it mattered. Stop! My voice cracked. Just stop. Those were small things, normal things. No, they were everything. To us, they were everything. She pressed the envelope against my window. Your mother gathered us all. We've been watching, waiting for the right moment to step in. We have a fund, Nathan. Every person you helped contributed what they could. Some gave thousands, others gave $50. It all mattered. I stared at the envelope like it might bite me. I can't take charity. This isn't charity. It's an investment in the man who invested in us. But there's something else. Something your mother didn't want me to tell you, but you need to know. Her voice broke completely. She has cancer, Nathan, stage 3. She's been hiding it for 6 months because she knew you'd destroy yourself trying to pay for treatment. The word cancer hung in the rain between us like a physical presence. I pushed open my car door so fast I nearly knocked Vivian backward, standing in the downpour, my legs barely holding me up. She said she was fine. Every call, every text, she said she was fine. My voice came out raw, primal. She sent me recipes last week, Bible verses this morning. She's planning Thanksgiving dinner. She's been refusing treatment, Vivian said softly. The doctors at County General gave her 6 months without chemotherapy. That was 5 months ago, Nathan. I bent over, hands on my knees, rain soaking through my work clothes. My mother, the woman who raised me alone, who never complained, who made miracles out of government cheese and food stamps, was dying while I stocked shelves and delivered packages. We've arranged everything, Vivian continued, her hand on my shoulder. Memorial Hospital's oncology team is ready. Dr. Harrison, the best in the Midwest, will take her case. The treatment is fully covered, but she won't go unless you accept our help. She said you inherited her pride, and she won't let you kill yourself with guilt. I straightened up, rain blurring my vision. How much is in the fund? $2.3 million. The number didn't seem real. I laughed, harsh and disbelieving. That's impossible. The family from Joliet, the ones whose roof you repaired. They own a construction company now. They contributed $300,000. The veteran whose groceries you bought, he patented a tool design and sold it to DeWalt. He put in $200,000. The teenager you taught to read? She's a best-selling author. $50,000. Every single person contributed something because you gave when you had nothing to give. She opened the envelope, water droplets hitting legal documents. But money is just part of it. I'm offering you a position with my company. Regional Operations Manager for the Midwest Division. $180,000 a year to start, full benefits, regular hours. You'd be managing logistics for our humanitarian division, getting resources to people who need them. Most. I don't have experience in logistics. You have experience in survival, in making impossible things work, in caring when caring costs everything. She pulled out another document. Your brother Felix drafted this. He's been part of our group for a year. He handles our legal work pro bono. My brother knew. The betrayal and relief hit simultaneously. Felix knew Mom was sick. He found out 2 weeks ago. He's been trying to figure out how to tell you without destroying you. Your mother made him promise to wait until we could help. I looked at the papers. Legal language swimming before my eyes. What's the catch? There's always a catch. One condition. You keep paying it forward. Help others the way you helped us. Build it into your life officially. The Nathan Cross Foundation is already registered as a non-profit. We need you to run it. I can't run a foundation. I can't even run my own life. Your daughters think differently. Vivian pulled out a folded paper, protecting it from the rain with her body. Ruby wrote to me, found my email in your mother's things. Want to know what she said? I took the paper with shaking hands. Ruby's 7-year-old handwriting, careful and deliberate. Dear Mrs. Montgomery, my daddy is a hero, but nobody knows it. He gives his lunch to homeless people. He helps old ladies with groceries. He fixes bikes for kids in our old neighborhood for free. Mommy says he's a failure, but she's wrong. He just needs someone to help him, like he helps everyone else. Can you help him remember he matters? Love, Ruby Cross. P.S. Don't tell him I wrote this because he'll say I shouldn't bother important people. The paper dissolved in the rain, but the words were branded into my brain. My 7-year-old daughter had more faith in me than I had in myself. Mila wrote too, Vivian said. She sent a drawing of you as a superhero. Your cape was made of grocery store aprons and delivery uniforms. She titled it, My Dad Saves People Every Day. I sank to my knees in the parking lot, rain pooling around me. They still believe in me. Everyone who matters believes in you, Nathan. Your mother, your daughters, 43 strangers who aren't strangers anymore. The only person who stopped believing was you. She knelt beside me, designer clothes ruined, makeup gone, looking nothing like the polished woman who'd stepped out of the Mercedes. Your mother has a surgery scheduled for Monday if you sign these papers. She'll start chemotherapy immediately after. Dr. Harrison says with treatment she has years, not months, years to see Ruby and Mila grow up, years to watch you rebuild. I looked up at her through the rain. What if I fail again? Then 43 people will catch you. That's what family does, Nathan, and we're your family now. I signed those papers right there in the rain, using the hood of my beaten Honda as a desk. Vivian held her phone's flashlight over the documents while I wrote my name on every line, rain drops smudging the ink but not the intent. That was 6 months ago, and I need to tell you what happened next because the changes came fast and hard, like dominoes that had been waiting years to fall. My mother's surgery happened that Monday. I sat in Memorial Hospital's waiting room for 7 hours, Felix on one side, Vivian on the other. When Dr. Harrison came out smiling, saying they got all the visible cancer, I cried for the first time in 2 years. Real tears, not the exhausted leaking that happens when your body gives up, but the kind that washes you clean from the inside out. Mom moved in with me after I got the new apartment. 3 bedrooms, 2nd floor, windows that actually open and close. She was weak from chemo but strong enough to cook, filling my home with smells I'd forgotten existed. Pot roast on Sundays, fresh bread on Wednesdays, cookies whenever Ruby and Mila visited. She turned that apartment into something I'd lost the ability to create. A home. The custody battle was swift once I hired a real lawyer. Bridget fought dirty, but judges care about stability, and my new job with Vivian's company provided that. The girls told the family court judge they wanted equal time with both parents. Ruby actually stood up and said, My daddy works hard. He's not rich, but he loves us every single day. Mila added, Dominic buys us stuff, but Daddy teaches us stuff. The judge granted joint custody that day. Here's the part that shocked everyone. Dominic left Bridget 3 months later. Turns out he was only interested in playing savior to a struggling single mom. Once she became just another divorced woman fighting over custody, she lost her appeal. She kept the house but lost the lifestyle, the Mercedes, the country club membership. She called me crying one night saying she'd made a mistake. I told her mistakes were just lessons waiting to be learned and hung up. The Nathan Cross Foundation launched quietly. We started small, identifying people in crisis through homeless shelters, food banks, and social workers. Nothing huge, just strategic help at crucial moments. $500 to keep someone's electricity on during winter. $1,000 for car repairs so someone could keep their job. Groceries delivered anonymously to families choosing between food and medicine. Ruby and Mila became my assistants. Every Saturday they helped sort letters, package care items, and write thank you notes to donors. They learned that wealth wasn't about having more than others, but about having enough to share. Mila started a penny drive at school that raised $3,000. Ruby wrote stories about families we helped and read them at foundation events. The 43 people who helped me became the foundation's board. The construction company owner from Joliet provides free home repairs. The veteran patentee funds tool training programs. The author runs writing workshops for at-risk youth. We became an ecosystem of people who understood that success means nothing if you climb alone. My job at Vivian's company challenged me in ways stocking shelves never could. I managed supply chains for disaster relief, coordinated deliveries to food banks, and ensured medical supplies reached rural clinics. Every logistics puzzle I solved meant someone somewhere got help they desperately needed. Vivian was right. I understood the urgency because I'd lived it. Last month, Jerome from the grocery store called. He'd been diagnosed with diabetes and couldn't afford insulin. The foundation covered his medication and got him into a management program. He cried when I delivered the first batch personally. "I saw you disappearing, Nathan," he said. "Every day, a little less of you. Now look at you, bringing other people back to life." Mr. Peterson from the grocery store now manages our food distribution program. He says it's the retirement job he never knew he wanted. The security guard from Spotless Solutions runs our job training initiative. Even Mr. Chen from QuickShip joined us, coordinating volunteer drivers. The people who witnessed my lowest moments became partners in lifting others. My mother finished chemo 2 months ago. Her cancer is in remission, and she spends her days managing foundation correspondence. At 72, she says she finally understands why God let her struggle so hard raising Felix and me. "We were learning to recognize pain in others," she told me. You can't help someone out of a hole you've never been in. The smell of failure Bridget talked about? It was never failure. It was fertilizer. Everything that died in my old life became soil for something better to grow. Every person I'd helped when I was strong became a root system that held me up when I was weak. Every moment of kindness I'd forgotten about was actually a seed planted in someone else's life, waiting for the exact moment when I'd need it to bloom. This is what I learned in that rain-soaked parking lot. Rock bottom isn't where stories end. It's where foundations get built. If this story touched you, please like this video and share it with someone who needs to remember they matter. Comment below about a time someone's kindness changed your life, because these stories need to be told. And subscribe to this channel for more real stories about real people discovering that failure is just success wearing a disguise.